and welcome back to the Delightful Cooking Show with your host, myself, John David Cubison. Now, the last two videos have been amazing. I've gotten to learn two new cooking techniques. With 2 weeks ago, we learned how to make our own dumplings, and last week we learned how to make the ultimate game day chicken wing. Now, those 2 weeks have been great, a lot of fun, but today I'm going to go back to a recipe that I have made myself thousands of times. It is delicious, healthy, and super easy. It's so easy, in fact, even Bailey can do it. Anyway, for those of you who are new, the reason I do this cooking show is my girlfriend, Bailey Coates, who's an amazing singer, songwriter, performer, is moving out to LA here in a couple weeks. And so for that, I want to give her a gift of teaching her how to cook. That way, she has a little bit of skill when she goes out there to LA. Now, while she's an amazing performer, she's terrible in the kitchen. So this video is my way of saying that I love her, and I hope that I can just make her day a little bit easier with a home-cooked meal every single day. And so for today, what we got this beautiful piece of salmon. Got our carrots, bell pepper, onion, tomato, got some ginger, some garlic, and some cut up rosemary, and a lemon for later. Now, in order to make these videos not 30 minutes, give them about 14-15 minutes, I've gone ahead and done all the prep work. If you want to learn how to do any of this prep work, it's super easy. Like, just go look up YouTube videos. So we don't have that footage, but I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. And for anybody out there who's not Bailey that wants to leave a like or comment or subscribe, I don't care. Not an influencer. I say this every episode because it's important to me. I don't give a shit. Okay? Leave your likes, leave your comments, leave your subscriptions. I don't care. Influencing is stupid. It's not for me. And with that, we're going to learn how to make the ultimate roasted salmon. All right, to start off, what we're going to do is we're going to get started with our rice and our sauce. I already have my oven preheated to 375, and look, it's done. So I'm going to be using the boil-in bag rice. It's a lot easier, a lot less hassle, only takes 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do first, I have my pan right here. I'm going to use chicken broth, bring that to a boil. Now, using chicken broth instead of water, it adds a lot more flavor to that rice. That's what we're looking for right here. So, to fill this up, chicken broth, add a little bit of sesame oil, just a tiny bit. We don't want the flavor to be too much sesame oil. Now, whenever you cook sesame oil, remember that it's a very strong, it's very aromatic. It's delicious, don't get me wrong, but too much is never a good thing. So while that's going right here, I'm going to start on our sauce. Put that on high, and I'm going to take my measuring cup right here. Got my rice wine vinegar. We go about half the cup. Pour it in. And if you're wondering what I'm doing, like our last video, what we want to start with is reducing this vinegar down a little bit to get a little bit of a thicker sauce. So we're going to have this going right now while our chicken broth, sesame oil heat up for our rice. Add about quarter cup of soy sauce into this. Gonna add some sweet chili sauce. And finally, some teriyaki sauce. No real ratio, just putting it in there. Lastly, we're gonna add a little bit of chicken broth, just make sure we have that good flavor. And let that go, bring that up to a boil, and let it simmer and reduce down. And while we're doing that, we're going to go ahead, add a little salt, just a tiny bit of garlic salt, and some black pepper. Now with that, we'll allow ourselves to cook. Our sesame oil and chicken broth is coming to a boil with our rice. The last thing we're going to do with our sauce is wrap some light brown sugar. While this is starting to boil, I'm just going to put some brown sugar in there. So that's it for right now. All that's gonna be left is add a little bit of fresh lemon juice once this is reduced down. Okay? So now that we have this boiling right now, all we do is take our bag of rice, drop it in. It's that easy. Now with rice or pasta, especially using a smaller pan like this, you gotta worry about that starch foaming out of your pan, getting all over your countertop. So we're gonna go ahead while this is boiling, reduce this down to a little bit over medium, keep that constant boil, but not boil it too much, because this is gonna overfill. So now back to our sauce. We'll take a whisk, just mix it real nice. Starting to bubble. Once we get this up to roll and boil, we turn our heat down to about medium. We're gonna have a perfect glaze for that salmon, rice, and veggies. So while that's going, now we're gonna wait for our rice to boil and our sauce to finish. In 10 minutes, do it again. Now that it's been 10 minutes, our rice is done. Turn off the heat. We're gonna set this to the side right now. I'm gonna leave it in there with that broth in there just to let it keep staying there, get all that flavor while we finish the rest. I've moved my sauce to the back right here. Started to bubble up, started to foam up with all the fat from our chicken broth. So now it's starting to kind of bubble. We'll start taking it down, heat, basically to just a simmer, try to get all that extra moisture off before we add about 2 tablespoons of butter. So I'm gonna let that keep going. I've gotten my Dutch oven hot. All I'm gonna do now is start with our prep work. So I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil. And then I have my plate full of veggies, garlic, ginger. And all I'm gonna do, just throw it all in there. Carrots. It's nice and sauteed down before adding everything else in there. Okay. Make sure we get all our delicious, nutritious vegetables, garlic, ginger, and rosemary in there. Now, take the heat down a little bit. I'm gonna be looking for a nice translucent color on my onions and start seeing my tomatoes start to blister just a little bit. So I'm gonna just get this going. And all I'm gonna add for seasoning, got my garlic salt and my pepper. So, with that in there, we're gonna let this cook down for a little bit. Let our sauce finish cooking down. Add our butter, add our rice, and our salmon, and this dish is gonna be ready for the oven. Our vegetables are looking absolutely stunning right now. Our sauce is coming along great. What I'm gonna do right here is reduce our heat for our sauce. I have 4 tablespoons of butter. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the first piece in here. This is where all our rice and vegetables are gonna be. And then I'm gonna put 3 tablespoons right in here in our sauce and let that go down. So while we wait for that to cook down, I'm gonna go ahead, add our rice. A little difficulty there, but it's okay. Go ahead, add our rice. So twice, cook to perfection. And now we're gonna mix all this up with the butter. Yeah, looking absolutely gorgeous right here. Look at that. Looking stunning. Okay. Now, while that cooks down a little bit, I'm gonna take my heat off, even out my rice, my vegetables. And what I'm gonna do, I've pre-portioned my salmon. I'm just gonna lay it right on top. Just covering all the rice, all those vegetables. They're all gonna be cooked just absolutely deliciously. Make sure all our salmon gets attention, gets space. Okay, now that's done, we'll wait for our sauce to finish. Add our sauce, have our onion oven, 375. We'll let this go for about 18 minutes. Our sauce is absolutely beautiful now. We've gotten that butter just perfectly melted in. So all that's left to do is take our sauce, just nice and easy, spread it all over. Okay, once we get everything nice and marinated, got a lot of sauce left over for after or for another dish you want to do. So all that's left, add just a tiny bit of rosemary to garnish, just to get that extra flavor. Now, cover it up. Open up our oven, and we're to stick this bad boy in. 18 minutes, we're gonna have a perfect meal. Let's see how we did. Woo! That smells incredible right now. I cannot wait to eat this. So, I'm just gonna go under here, grab some rice, veggies, beautiful salmon right there. So what I did, kind of messed up on, I didn't let my sauce get thick enough the first time. So while this was cooking, I went ahead, got my sauce nice and thick. The way you can tell, you get the back of your spoon right here, it just drips down like that. Perfect. So my sauce will reduce. Go ahead, add a little bit more flavor to our salmon, to our rice. Put on for later the rest of our salmon. Oh, that's absolutely gorgeous. Healthy, nutritious, easy. All your cleanup, under 10 minutes. All right, let's get a closer view right here. Look at that. Look how beautifully that's cooked. Absolutely perfect. That's ridiculously good. So, while I enjoyed this, I want to tell everybody thank you. Tell Bailey I love her. And I'll see you next week on the next installment of Da-Lightful Cooking.